DC has really had it rough in the movies for a really long time, especially with the disastrous reputation of the old DCEU. Because of multiple contributing factors, including rushing the build-up of the first big crossover movie, lack of interconnectivity, no real vision, and just straight-up bad movies. So the DC movie universe really needed a restart. I also feel like they picked the perfect Kevin Feige equivalent for DC.
It's actually a little different. I mean, number one, DC Studios is a studio, so it's a little bit different. Peter Safran does a lot of what Kevin Feige does. A lot of what I do is I just work on the creative side of things. So mapping out the stories and the creative side of the universe is my job, much more so than some of the more administrative, executive type stuff. And Kevin has to do both.
Well, whatever. Nonetheless, I think James Gunn is a great pick leading the DC franchise, including making decisions that blew the old universe out of the water. And even compared to other movie franchises like the MCU, for example, including but not limited to giving the filmmakers complete creative freedom on their projects, not announcing projects until they have finalized scripts, the use of highly obscure DC characters, and most of all, not being afraid to bring up the comics. James Gunn has been showing a continuous love for the comics. And if you've taken one glance at this channel or the Amazon sales, then yeah, you know it feels good. So far, we've had only one official project in this universe so far, and Reacher Commandos was great in my opinion. Even though it is another project that falls under the category of band of misfits that slowly turn into a found family that is also coincidentally written by James Gunn. Now, does that mean the show is bad? No, of course not. However, today I want to go through project by project, give you my quick thoughts on each one, and by the end we will answer the question together if DC is in a better or worse state than it was 5 or so years ago. The first film to kick off this universe is a solo Superman movie, and to say that I'm excited for this movie is an understatement. I have been anticipating this movie since it was first announced, when everyone thought the next Superman movie was going to be Man of Steel 2, around fall 2022-ish, when Black Adam came out. Man, what a wild time to be a DC fan. Then it was announced that James Gunn would be writing and directing this movie as Superman Legacy. And after the casting, the name change to the movie, and every little set leak, to the eventual reveal of the first teaser trailer, I devoured this information like I was eating a steak at a 5-course DC restaurant. It's been 12 years since we've gotten an actual solo Superman movie, and back then, I was just a wee little lad. And if I hear another person say, "Oh yeah, I just find Superman boring," then I'm gonna strangle them and become the next Ezra Miller. Okay, maybe not that. But you get what I mean. If this movie fails, then I don't know what I'll do. Maybe move to the cabin, become a secluded man who just chops wood every day, using my comic books as spare firewood. Everything I've seen from this movie just looks fantastic. The cast looks fantastic, especially Rachel Brosnahan and David Cornsweet. They just look absolutely perfect as Clark and Lois. July just can't come any sooner. Everyone, please go see this movie. It looks fantastic. Go see it on the biggest screen possible. Go see it for crypto's sake. Or at least for Nathan Fillion's bull cut. Please! Next we got Peacemaker Season 2. Guys, I gotta be honest with you. I still haven't seen this show. I know. I just haven't had the time. I've been busy reading comics, gosh darn it. And it's such a weird case, too, because I love the Suicide Squad. It's the best DCEU movie, in my opinion. I'm intrigued to see how this will play out as a soft reboot for the show, but also at the same time be a continuation from the first season. So, I don't know. I just hope it doesn't come off as confusing. I'll try to watch the first season before August or whenever this comes out. And if I don't, I'll eat a shoe or something. Next we got Lanterns. This is definitely the project I am the most cautiously optimistic about, because on one hand, I love Green Lantern. He's my guy. I love GL Comics so damn much. And DC Studios has such an awesome opportunity to make pretty much their own Star Wars by having their own space-centered saga, with intergalactic battles and conflicts, the whole jazz. But it seems this show won't be doing that. Instead, it's going to be an Earth-based detective story, rather than a space opera. And I don't know how I feel about it, because this would really work as a movie more than anything. I mean, I guess it makes sense why that's a Earth-based drama instead of being a space-based show, because then the budget would be like $1 gazillion per episode. And in a perfect world, my quote-unquote perfect Green Lantern saga would be based off of Jeff Johns' amazing Green Lantern run. But instead, the show won't be based off of any Green Lantern comic, and instead will be its own thing, which I guess is kinda cool. But here comes my biggest problem, and that is with the casting. Now, I have nothing wrong with Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart and Ulrich Thompson as Sinestro. These castings are awesome, and I think they'll do a great job in their respective roles. However, my problem starts to form with the announcement with Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan. Now, I don't think he'll do a bad job as Hal. Hell, I think he'll do a great job. I mean, come on, he's in that goated football show. But here's the thing. The guy's 59 years old, so instead of a younger Hal who can grow into the role of Green Lantern, we'll be getting a gray-haired Hal, like in the 90s Green Lantern comics, right before the whole Parallax storyline. But here's the real kicker. The guy only has a 1-year contract in the DCU, so that's pretty much confirmation that Jon Stewart will be the main Green Lantern of the DCU. And Hal will probably become Parallax in the finale, then die and pass the torch to Jon Stewart, setting him up for future seasons. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory! But for me, someone who's absolutely loved Hal Jordan for pretty much my whole life, and he's still my favorite Green Lantern today, this really sucks for us longtime Hal Jordan fans. And I love the Jeff Johns run. It's my favorite DC comic run, man. And come on, we were right there, man! Now, I was thinking about going to the DC offices and demanding this show must be changed from a show to a movie, and make me the writer and I make my dream vision and all that jazz. But 2 problems with that. 1, I'm lazy, and 2, they already started filming. So I'm just going to give this show a chance. Whatever, we'll see. Next we got the second DCU movie, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is kind of wild to think that we're going from a Superman movie to a Supergirl movie. But whatever, I guess they'll work together as a nice pairing. But if you told me that 5 years ago that the DC movies would get a complete reboot, I would not be that surprised. But if you told me that the second movie would be a solo Supergirl film, I probably wouldn't believe you. But hey, I guess that's how it works at DC Studios. Whatever scripts that are completed and fully finalized, they immediately go into production, which I think is a super smart aspect on a business standpoint and on a filming standpoint. But it's going to be interesting to see how these release dates shake up other DCU projects, and it all depends on the quality of the scripts. I first read this comic back when the movie was first announced, and immediately went to my favorite comic pirating site and read it on my crappy 8th grade Chromebook. True story, by the way. And I really enjoyed it. I haven't read it since then, but I'll probably revisit it just in time for the movie's release. And I know Tom King is a very mixed writer, but I gotta love Tom King when he works on miniseries, where he has a complete story in his mind and doesn't have to worry about filler issues. Can't say the same about his Batman run, however. I know Millie Alcock is going to do a great job as Kara Zor-El, because she was great in House of the Dragon. But I'm definitely the most hyped to see Jason Momoa as Lobo, because Lobo is such a fun character, and he is well overdue for his live-action debut. Now we got a Clayface movie of all things. Now this film is very heavily reliant on the fact that the script happened to be finalized. Or, just kidding, that didn't happen! Because this film was never planned by Gunn nor Safran, but instead this film was pitched by Mike Flanagan, the director of Dr. Sleep, and the two loved the script so much they immediately put the film in pre-production. And they did confirm that this film is DCU canon. So that means we're getting a Clayface movie before a Batman movie, which is kind of wild to think. But I'm here for it. And it has been confirmed that the movie will have an R rating, and will be both a psychological and gross horror movie. And horror is definitely my favorite movie genre, so I'm a bit excited to say the least. And the film will focus on a Hollywood actor who injects himself with a mysterious substance and becomes a clay-like creature, who can reshape his body, which sounds super intriguing. And we already got Alan Tudyk voicing the character in Creature Commandos. So does that mean Tudyk will voice Clayface in his upcoming film? Well, apparently not, said Gunn, even though actors will go through animation to live action characters. Like, for example, I think Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr., who appeared in animation on Creature Commandos, but also will appear in live action in Superman this summer. But here's the thing that makes me the most excited about this film. The movie is only supposed to have a $40 million budget, and that means to break even, it will only have to make $100 million back. And if Blue Beetle can make $130 during a writer's strike, then Clayface sure as hell can. But if this movie does well, then this might pave the way for more low to mid-budget superhero movies. Which honestly, in this landscape where every major Marvel movie has at least an $150 million budget. And plus, these movies are starting to bomb left and right. And I swear to God, if Blade has more than, like, a $50 million budget, then I'm going to lose it. Like, it's just a guy who fights vampires. Like, I could make a Blade movie in my backyard with a budget of 2 nickels and a button. Next, we got a movie based off of Sergeant Rock, which recently just got announced. And honestly, this is not what I expected. But come on, this is pretty much a given for DC Studios by now, so I really shouldn't be too surprised. The film is going to be directed by Luca Guadagnino, who is kind of a weird choice for this movie in my opinion. Not because I think he's a bad director, I love a bunch of his movies. But I wouldn't expect the guy who directed the sexy tennis movie starring Zendaya would also direct the DC military movie. But whatever, it probably will be good. This movie was originally going to star Daniel Craig as the titular Sergeant Rock, but I guess he had to drop out because of scheduling conflicts. The recent scoop is that Jeremy Allen White will star in the role. But whatever, he'll do a good job. I love the bear. I just hope he doesn't yell at me for burning the bagel bites. Hey, editing Spider Knight here, and I guess now Colin Farrell is the newest casting rumor. And honestly, great choice. I won't go in depth because I am very tired right now and just want to finish this video. Next we got my most anticipated movie on this list, because The Batman is definitely my favorite Batman movie. And it's also one of my top 5 favorite comic book movies. So yeah, I'm a little excited for this movie. I swear to God, if this movie gets delayed again, I'm going to barge into Matt Reeves' personal office like the goddamn Kool-Aid Man, and I'm going to watch on him until he has a finalized version of the script. Now, part of me just wants this movie to come out right now. However, another part of me can wait, because this movie has an expected release date of fall 2027. And that means when this movie comes out, I'll be in college, and I'll have my own adult problems. And that is actually wild to think. Because this movie was supposed to come out of October of this year. I mean, what the actual fuck is life, man? Anyways, on a more positive and lighthearted note, I can't wait to see what this movie will be all about. And even though it's kind of annoying to have 2 live-action Batman all at once, because oh boy, that totally won't be confusing at all. But I do think it's cool to see Matt Reeves having his own little corner in DC Studios to do whatever the hell he wants. For the villain, I don't know, maybe Hush, but maybe if we don't want to have another serial killer again. Honestly, Deathstroke would be awesome. And yes, I do want to see Slade in the DCU and be a primary antagonist for Nightwing or the Teen Titans. But god damn it, if we can have 2 live-action Batmen at once, then what's the problem with 2 Deathstrokes? Yeah, that's what I thought. Next we got Dynamic Duo, a movie that I'm super hyped for, ignoring the fact that I will be even older than when The Batman Part 2 comes out, and I'll have even more adult problems. But ignoring all that, this movie has a valid excuse, because animation takes a frickin' long time, and this movie sounds insane. The movie is being done by the small animation studio, Swaybox Studios. Now, I've never heard of these guys before, so I had to do a little research, and this company is actually wild. They do this animation that combines CGI, practical effects, stop-motion elements, and even live-action, real-time performances. It sounds so groundbreaking, and I love that DC is giving this small company of 25 animators this huge of a project. If DC Studios wanted to find their equivalent to the Spider-Verse movies, then honestly, they found a pretty damn good contender. This movie will focus on the origin story of the friendship between young Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. And this makes me so excited, because not only does this mean we're going to get Red Hood on the big screen, but we're also going to see some Nightwing, and I get to finally see some dick on the silver screen. And the Young Justice fan in me is just having an orgasm just saying that out loud. And no, I will not accept this as a Nightwing movie. Don't think you're getting out of this, James Gunn. You still need to make a Nightwing movie. Speaking of Batman, here's another Batman movie. I've been writing about Batman projects for the last couple writing sessions. I'm gonna go insane. Anyways, last Batman project. I promise. So I'm gonna keep this one brief. I cannot wait to see the return of Robin to the big screen. The last time since 1997. And I know not everyone is too happy about Damian Wayne being the Robin of the DCU, but honestly, I don't care. Damian has always been my second favorite. And I really hope this leads to more Bat Family members being added to the DCU. Please! I love the Bat Family. I would love to see Orphan, Spoiler, Batwing. Not the Signal. It's okay, Duke Thomas. You don't have to come. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up because I've talked about Batman way too much today. Can't wait for this movie to come out because it probably won't come out for a very long time. Definitely going to be an old man soon. These next couple of projects I'm going to speed through because I got pizza rolls in the oven, and if I don't wrap this up soon, they'll get burnt. So next we got a Booster Gold show, and I can't fucking wait. Oh my god. And it better come out, or then I'm going to freak if they cancel this. I love Booster Gold. He's the GOAT. I didn't understand why everyone had such high regards for the guy, but then I read a little comic called 52, and yeah, he's the GOAT. Please read 52, and you'll get the hype. I promise you. Can't wait for the show. I love Booster to death. Please have Ted Kord in the show in some shape or form. Hell, I'll take Jaime, but Ted would be great. Also, please have Glenn Powell as Booster. Look, I hate fan castings, because YouTubers always pick the worst choices. And I'd always rather prefer more unknown actors in these roles, but this one would be just perfect. Just watch Twisters, and you'll see what I mean. Next, we got a prequel Paradise Lost show, focusing on the Themysciras before the creation of Wonder Woman. And I guess it's kinda cool that we have a prequel show for each of the main DC Trinity. But look, man, I'm not that excited. I love Wonder Woman, but I kinda just wish we could jump into modern day with a new Wonder Woman story. I mean, if Superman can do it, then why can't Wonder Woman? Whatever, I probably won't watch this, unless if the show gets super good reviews and I happen to have a free weekend. But I don't know how I feel about this one. I wouldn't be too sad if this gets cancelled. Speaking of projects I wouldn't be sad about if they got cancelled, we got the Amanda Waller show. Yay. Look, I love Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. She is picture perfect casting. But that doesn't mean we need a whole show around her. Even though I'm absolutely hyped for the new Superman movie, I can get the hate from Snyder fans after Henry Cavill got recasted, but Gunn gets to keep all of his Suicide Squad characters. However, at the same time, Henry Cavill's Superman wasn't very comic accurate, and if they just made a new Man of Steel movie, I don't think giving Henry Cavill a new coat of paint would help. I still don't know why this show needs to exist. Why couldn't this just be a side plot in Peacemaker Season 2? Maybe this show will prove me wrong. We'll just have to wait and see. Next we got The Authority, aka What If the Boys Were Actually Good? And I've really wanted to talk about The Authority for a while now. I might have to make a video talking about them because I can't stand The Boys. So when James Gunn was going on about mentioning how this was going to be the DCU version of The Boys, I was like, oh my god, this movie is gonna suck. And not only that, but the comic is written by a controversial writer, so this was not looking good. So I decided to read the actual comic to form my own opinion. And honestly, I really enjoyed it. It was a really refreshing read. I was shocked, flabbergasted if you will. But yeah, this was really great. And not only that, but a great character study. Every character is different and has their own opinions that they're always open to share. And it's not just, what if Superman, but evil? No, instead, Warren Ellis tells such an interesting story using superheroes, and using his own writing style. And it's a great political satire. I hate it when comics use its political view by dragging it down our throats, but when it works in a subtle subversion, it really works quite well. Anyways, go read this comic and state your own opinions, and I just hope this movie is just as good as the comic. Okay, I'm gonna be pretty fast on this one, because I really don't know a lot about Swamp Thing. I know he's connected to the Green, and, his new 52 design has tree roots all over his body, and I always thought it kinda looked like a mustache on him, back when I used to play Lego Batman 3 all the time. But that's it! That's all I know about Swamp Thing! I know I need to read some of his comics, like the Alan Moore run, and the Scott Snyder run, and etc. But I do think this movie is going to be great. And I hope this is the start of like the mystical side of the DC universe, and will inevitably lead to a Justice League Dark movie. That would be awesome. James Mangold is a pretty good director most of the time, but I do have faith in the guy, so we'll see what happens. Okay, this is definitely my most anticipated DCU project. But Spider Knight, what about Superman, or The Authority, or Booster Gold? No, it's this one. Look, I love the Teen Titans. They're definitely my favorite team in comics right now. And the fact that we haven't gotten a Teen Titans ongoing at DC Comics since 2022 is criminal. Maybe the release of this movie will change that. So far it's been confirmed that the movie will be written by the same woman who wrote the new Supergirl movie, Ann Noguera. And look, Miss Noguera, if you're watching this, here's a few things I would love to see in this movie. And you're probably done writing the script by now when this video releases, but oh well, I just wanted to share my thoughts. Number 1, don't put Nightwing on the team. I'm not saying I don't want to see him in this movie. He can appear in a cameo or a minor role, but don't make him on the team, because there's already a superhero team for Nightwing to lead, and that's the Titans. So just make a Titans movie instead. Or if you really want to make me happy, then you can add him to an Outsiders movie. I've seen a few misconceptions about Nightwing being on the Teen Titans, but that was only when he was Robin, when he was, a teenager. Emphasis on the teen. And I know what you're saying, yes, he was an adult during the new Teen Titans run, but this is a movie, and people will be confused real easily. Number 2, don't just make the roster be the same 5 members from the cartoon. Now don't get me wrong, I love this iteration of the team, but but I want a few more members to be a part of the team. You know, some variety. Spice it up a bit. There are so many amazing members of the team throughout the years, both popular and super obscure. And this movie would feel like a complete waste if they just rehashed the same roster again. Number 3, please make Blue Beetle a part of the team, or I'm gonna have a huge fit. Bigger than the ones Damian Wayne has in the comics. And it is most likely that he'll lead the team, and we'll just have to deal with it. Anyways, I would say these are some pretty reasonable requests. But whatever this movie turns out to be, I'll be as excited as I'll ever be. Because if I could tell my 8-year-old self that we would be getting a Teen Titans movie in the near future, then he would fucking freak. Next we got a weird one. Speaking of Deathstroke, after we last talked about him like 10 plus minutes ago, we got a Bane and Deathstroke team-up movie. And this does seem kinda random, like James Gunn and Peter Safran put a wheel spinner of Batman villains, and these were the 2 results. So I have come to the reasonable conclusion that this must be a Secret Six movie. But what is the Secret Six, you may be asking? Well, they're pretty much just a better version of the Suicide Squad, to be honest with you. Just read Gail Simone's run, and you'll see what I mean. And that is the first of many Spider Knight comic recommendations. I'll probably do one once a video or something. That sounds pretty reasonable. Bane is a usual Secret Six member, so it's not completely out of the question. So if this does turn out to be true, then that means Catman might be making his live-action debut, and that would honestly be awesome. Again, read Gail Simone's run, and you'll see what I mean. I just hope Deathstroke doesn't interact with any minors in this movie. I mean, we don't want a Terra situation again, if you know what I mean. Next, we got a Blue Beetle animated series, and this could be a lot of fun. I'm mostly excited to see Blue Beetle's story continue, transitioning to the DCU. Even though I didn't love his movie, but the parts that worked really damn well. And plus, Cobra Kai Guy is one of the best comic book castings we've seen in the whole DCEU. Plus, I feel like his powers work a lot better in the realm of animation. I hope this means the action will be top-notch. Lastly, I hope this follows up on the post-credit scene from the movie, because that means we're one step closer to having Ted Kord in the DCU, which means one step closer to a blue and gold team-up. Hell yeah, Blue Beetle Battalion forever. Lastly, we got Creature Commandos Season 2. I loved the first season, even though it was the same type of projects that Gunn is used to making, but the writing, animation, and all the little extra details made it well worth the watch. I mean, how many other superhero shows has a character card for the writer at the end? I mean, that is so damn creative. But yeah, I hope Season 2 is just as fun as Season 1. And we're getting more King Shark, baby! That's what I like to see! I might have to make an in-depth review for this show. Maybe if this video gets like 25 likes, then I'll promise to make a retrospective on the show. I promise. Since we've gotten a clear slate of the future of the DCU, I gotta say, these projects really got me excited for the future of DC. I would never imagine something like a Clayface movie, or hell, even a Supergirl movie this early on, to be honest with you. But we still don't know if these projects will be any good, so I guess time will tell.